Hey there! The second season of The Promised Neverland is here. In this new season, we're introduced to Mujika, this sweet, kind-hearted demon who will not be eating your favorite characters! Yay! Really, what more can you ask from a demon? So stick around as we'll be making her demon mask today, which you can make for cosplay or just for fun. Let's get into it! Stuff you will need. Get your aluminum foil and cut 3 pieces a little bigger than the size of your face. Take the first piece and gently press it on your face. Carefully contour and mold it around all your features, especially your nose and forehead. But you don't need to spend too much time on the area below your nose, since we won't be needing it for the mask. Once you're pleased with how it looks, put it back on your face, add the next layer of foil on top, and start shaping it to your face like before. Make sure that the foil reaches at least up to your hairline from the top and to your ears from each side of the face. And then again, go ahead and add the third layer on top of the other two. You can tape the layers together from the sides so that they don't slip out of each other. With these 3 layers put together, we now have a more firm surface to work on. Next up, we need to prepare our paper mache stuff. To make our glue mixture, I'm gonna use 2 parts glue and 1 part water, and mix them well until I get a nice consistency that's neither too sticky nor too watery. Here are some substitutes you can use for PVA glue. Then, get your newsprint or newspaper and shred it to smaller pieces. Start by covering a piece of paper in the glue mixture and very gently placing it on your aluminum mold. While applying this first layer, you need to be super careful not to press too hard, as the foil underneath it might lose its shape. As you can see, I'm covering all over the forehead down to the tip of the nose. After applying each layer, we need to wait for it to dry completely before moving on to the next. If you want, you can speed up this process by using a hairdryer. Now, if you look at Mujika's mask, you'll notice that it's flat all over, and so we need to get rid of this dip on the eye socket area. For that, I'm gonna fold up some paper and use hot glue to fill up this area. And then use paper mache to smooth it over. Go ahead and add as many more layers as you like to smooth everything out and make it look nice and even. Next, it's time to peel off the mask from the foil. Make sure your mask is totally dry when you do this and carefully start removing it from the foil. Your foil mold will definitely lose its original shape, which is okay, but don't throw it out yet, cause we'll be needing it later. Next, get your cereal box, open it up, and start cutting 1.5 centimeter strips out of it. We're gonna use these to cover the inside of the mask in order to make it stronger. If you're dealing with a thick cereal box cardboard like mine, it's a good idea to bend the strips over your fingers to make them take shape easier. Get out your hot glue gun and start gluing the strips horizontally on the inside of the mask. In order for the pieces to sit right, you might need to cut some of your pieces shorter and to different shapes to cover all the curves and corners just right. After that, go ahead and repeat the same thing again while laying the strips vertically this time. Next, I'm gonna get my paper mache and cover this whole area to smooth everything over. Now while I wait for that to dry, we're gonna start making the horns. You're gonna need some pieces of newsprint, the foil that we set aside from before, and masking tape. Start by rolling up a piece of paper into a cone and then crumple it up. Then I'm gonna take a piece of foil and wrap it around that. We need to press the foil super tight and try to compress it as much as possible. Keep adding more pieces of foil to make the horn as thick as you'd like it to be. And don't forget to press and twist it tightly as you go. Next, get your masking tape and cover all over your horns with it. This will help keep everything together and make the paper mache stick to it more easily. I decided to make my horns 5 centimeters long. And now, like I mentioned, we're gonna cover them with paper mache to make everything nice and smooth. And of course, make sure that both horns match each other. Now let's get back to our mask. Of course, we need to cut this down to fit our face and have the right design. For this step, you can ask someone to help you out, in the way that while you're wearing the mask, they can mark the areas that need to be cut. If not, you can use your phone and film yourself as you feel around and guess where you need to mark. Then look back at the video and, if needed, make alterations for where the marks should be. use a pair of strong scissors to cut over the marks. If you want to play it safe like me, you can cut a little, then go film yourself wearing it to see how it's going, and then cut more wherever you feel like you need to. As for the design, I brought the middle part up to the bridge of my nose, with the cheekbones being lower with a very subtle slope. And if you want it to be super accurate, there's also a little dip at the top of the forehead. Next, we need to cover all these edges with paper mache. Moving on to the eye holes. First, I'm gonna draw a small circle template. Cut it out, and use that to draw 2 identical vertical holes in the center of the mask. Then use some cutters and/or scissors to cut them out. And yep, we need to paper mache again. It's finally time to attach the horns. To determine where I want the horns to be, I'm gonna estimate and mark the general spot I think it should go, and then use the filming method again to make sure they're exactly where I want them to be. Now if you place the horn right on its flat base, you can see how it looks kinda weird. That means that we need to cut them at an angle so that they stand in a more natural looking way. For that, I'm gonna hold the horns over my mask exactly how I want them to look when they're attached. Then look from the side to see how it's angled and mark a line that's parallel with the mask's surface. It should look something like this. I know it might be kinda tricky to cut both horns at the exact same angle, but that's okay. If you cut too short, just fill up the empty space with more hot glue. After attaching the horns to the mask with hot glue, once again it's time to paper mache over the joint area to blend the 2 pieces together. Our mask is almost done and now we need to paint it. We're looking for an off-white bone color, And for that, I'm gonna combine white, yellow, black, and brown acrylic paint. You want to add equal amounts of white and yellow, which in my case is gold. To make it more dull, I'm adding the tiniest bit of black. And I didn't actually have brown paint, but as someone suggested, I used ground coffee instead, and it worked perfectly. I know you might be thinking, hey, that's almost exactly the same color that your mask was before. Is this really necessary? Well, firstly, the paint helps conceal all the inconsistent little patches of paper and covers everything with a final even layer. And secondly, it just so happened that my newsprint was the exact same color that I wanted the mask to be, and if I were using newspaper instead, then the paint would have been absolutely needed. I'm painting everywhere, except for the spot where the string is gonna go. For attaching the string, you can either cut 2 small holes on either side of the face, or if you want a more seamless look, you can hot glue your string on the inside of the mask and then cover it up with paper mache. And lastly, we're gonna paint over this area to finish it all up. And there you have it! Your Mujika mask is complete. Hope you've enjoyed the video and found it useful. If you make this, make sure to share a picture of it with me on my social media accounts. The link to those will be in the description. Like, subscribe, blah blah blah, and tell me in the comments what you thought of this. Okay, bye!